Hello, I'm Josh Van Jura, and I'm the director of UDOT's Trails and Transit Group, but I'm also the project manager on the Little Cottonwood Canyon EIS. We started this project about 5.5 years ago by doing research, analysis, multiple rounds of public involvement, and of course, engineering. And over that time, we've received over 50,000 comments, which is a record for UDOT. Today, we've released the Record of Decision, or ROD. And I wanted to take a few minutes and walk everybody through it. As a reminder, the ROD is the last phase in the NEPA process, but it is also the start of the implementation period, so we can start bringing these alternatives into place and improving transportation in Little Cottonwood. So let's take a couple of minutes and I'll show you what's included in the Record of Decision. The 5 action alternatives that we analyzed were 2 bus options, 2 gondola options, and a cog rail option. Between the final EIS and the Record of Decision, there were no design changes to any of these alternatives. The main change is that we revised the associated initial and life cycle cost estimates for each of these alternatives, and they can be seen here. The ROD also includes all the comments that we received on the final EIS and the supplemental information reports, and also responses to those comments. It is important to note that stops at trailheads were not considered for any of the 5 alternatives, but also that none of the alternatives would preclude future trailhead bus service if additional environmental review was done in coordination with the USDA Forest Service. Because all 5 transit-based alternatives have the capacity to remove approximately 500 cars per hour from the roadway, they all improve air quality and a variety of other environmental considerations. Based on the analysis of the environmental impacts and considering public input, UDOT has identified Gondola Alternative B with phased implementation of components of the improved bus service as the selected alternative for improving overall reliability, mobility, and improving safety. UDOT doesn't have the funding to implement Gondola B, but 2023 Senate Bill 2 provided $150 million to help solve these problems Little Cottonwood is experiencing today, and these funds specifically say that the money has to be used for increased bus service, to provide a mobility hub, ski resort bus stops, and tolling infrastructure. And that is what UDOT's proposing for Phase 1 to help alleviate the traffic problems that we're seeing today in the canyon. UDOT's absolutely committed to making these improvements work so that we can improve conditions in Little Cottonwood Canyon as soon as possible. I think it's important to recognize that we're not building the solution to the 2050 problem today. We're trying to solve the immediate problems we're seeing in Phase 1, but we are environmentally clearing the solution to the 2050 problem. UDOT took many factors into consideration when identifying Gondola B as the selected alternative in the Record of Decision. The gondola has the highest travel time reliability, and that's because it operates in a separate alignment from the roadway. So it isn't prone to delays associated with heavy snow, crashes, slide-offs, or slow-moving traffic. These reliability benefits that the gondola bring will also make travel to the ski resorts a less stressful experience and help ensure that you can get to the resort and home from the resort in a reasonable amount of time while improving the quality of life for those residents along 9400 South and Wasatch Boulevard. Construction of the gondola and the associated towers will be a visual change to many canyon users, but the minimal impacts to resources such as watershed, air quality, noise, and wildlife, as well as the many other impacts, were thoroughly analyzed and considered when selecting the alternative. The revised capital cost is $729 million, and this includes approximately $210 million for tolling infrastructure, trailhead parking, snow sheds, and widening Wasatch Boulevard, which is consistent across all 5 action alternatives. The winter operation and maintenance costs of Gondola Alternative B is $4.4 million per year for winter service, and if summer service were implemented, then that number would increase by $3.3 million per year. Gondola B has the lowest annual operating and maintenance costs of the 5 alternatives, which results in substantial cost savings over a 30-year life cycle period. So let's talk about the phasing plan for a moment. During the public comment periods, many people suggested that UDOT start with increased busing, more parking, and tolling before moving to alternatives that have greater environmental impacts and require more infrastructure. And that's what UDOT has selected in the record of decision. In Phase 1, the phase will start immediately. This would include increased and improved bus service, as generally described in the enhanced bus service alternative, again with no canyon roadway widening, the construction of a mobility hub at the gravel pit, ski resort bus stops, and tolling, along with Upper Canyon parking restrictions. And this is exactly the list of items that was funded by SB 2 this past legislative session. In Phase 2, UDOT would proceed with the imbalance lane alternative for Wasatch Boulevard improvements, constructing snow sheds with realigned roads, and implementing trailhead improvements at 4 locations as funding allows. These improvements will improve air quality, protect the watershed, and increase the quality of life for residents and canyon users by reducing traffic congestion as private vehicles shift to transit. Again, UDOT's committed to ensuring that the Phase 1 improvements are successful, and we're going to strive to get these implemented as soon as possible so that residents and recreationalists alike can have better transportation options on SR 210. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, but more importantly, thank you for taking the time to support this project and really all the projects that UDOT undertakes. If you're interested, we have 2 additional videos that go a little deeper in depth on these included on our website. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Have a great day.